About as big as we can possibly get at this point. Talent-wise, they're as good as any team in the country. They're still young, and so they're still working some things out. But boy, talent-wise, you're looking at a group that could go to the Final Four, no question.
Is there a critical matchup for you where you just got to try to hold your own?
Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, they're good. They're going to be good at every spot on the floor. So it's a game where we just collectively have to be better than we are individually.
Can it be big for someone like Jill, going against talented players to sort of test yourself against that?
Absolutely, yeah. And I talk to Jill all the time about just, playing hard every possession and working for a position down low and all those kind of little things. And she's going to see a couple of posts that do that on every possession. They try to bury people inside, and they're so physical and so aggressive and strong. And she can be that same kind of player. Right now, Jill's still a little more finesse, but she's getting there, and I like what I see so far.
And how do you feel about the mental toughness of some of your younger players to face a challenge like this?
Yeah, well, they'd better step up. I mean, this is the kind of team that can embarrass you if you're not ready to play. And what we're going to try and do, a couple of things. Number one, we've got to make every possession difficult for them. We can't allow them to get easy baskets. Whether that's, something easy inside or something in transition. They're very good in transition. We're just going to have to make them work every possession. And then at our end, same thing, play longer possessions and make them work. Get the ball side to side. I don't care how athletic they are. They're not going to be faster than the basketball. So we've definitely got a work cut out for us, but this is a good opportunity.
How big would it be to just have a strong showing, or kind of what are your goals for, what have you kind of been preaching this week?
A lot of defense, and actually today we had a great practice. We were without a couple of our players, so we were shorthanded, but at the same time the intensity was great, and that's what is going to, when you play good teams, the defense has got to be there for you, because that's what's tested the most. So, that's really what we've been preaching this week, not just because of the opponent this week, but because that's what we have to get better at.
Talk about defenses. Do you feel like you guys have made a lot of improvements since Westmar? Do you feel like in practice you've been able to take a great step forward since actual play got underway?
I think we're really getting a lot better defensively. It didn't show in our first game. I was disappointed in the Utah State game. I don't think we defended that well. When the threes start to rain, I think you relax a little bit, and so we took a step back. But we've continued to practice better this week, and yes, we're getting better.
Long time in between games before this game. You like having that lead up? It's 8 days, right?
Yeah.
For UNC.
Yes and no. I mean, normally I would say no, but we're still in a learning phase. There's just no question about it. So that time off is great. Practice is important. We had another game, and it was canceled late, and so that's why we had a hole there. But hey, listen, if you make it an issue, it becomes an issue. So we've really focused on practice this week.
Do you like to schedule those high-intensity opponents? Is that something that, going forward, you would really like to have for the program?
Absolutely. And if you know my past, that's something we always have done. And I think that's critical. That's how you test yourself and see what you need to do. You can beat teams, you can just kind of roll in and beat somebody easily. And it doesn't expose your weaknesses. These guys are going to expose our weaknesses, no question about it, and we get better from it. I think going forward, of our 11 non-league games, I want to work to where we play 2 really good intersectional home games, 2 really good intersectional road games each and every year, as well as a competitive tournament. So that's how we're going to try and schedule going forth.
And obviously the Pac-12 is getting better and better. How do you see the conferences change, just Pac-12 ways, kind of taking down UConn just this last week?
Oh, that was great. That was great for the conference, and to do it on national TV on a night when people were really focused on college basketball was tremendous. I texted Tara that night and just congratulated her. We need those kind of signature wins in the conference. But I don't know much about the conference, to be honest with you. I haven't seen anybody play yet. I'm just focused on what's next for us, and what's next is North Carolina.
Do you have a relationship with Sylvia Hatchell? And what's that like?
Yeah, no, I like Sylvia. Nike program, so we've gone on some vacations together. I've played her a couple of times. She took us pretty good in Hawaii a few years ago in one of the holiday tournaments, and then we beat her 3 or 4 years ago in the NCAA tournament first round. So we've played twice, and both have been good games, and they're always loaded. She does such a great job, and just talent-wise, like I said, they're as good as any team in the country.
Just following what she's been able to do coming back from her year off, how do you see, or kind of just as a fan of the NC2A, kind of how do you see her presence in nationally?
Well, Sylvia, fought cancer and she's winning right now, and she's an inspiration to everybody, and especially those of us in the coaching profession. So I'm really happy for her and happy she's back coaching. The game needs her. She's one of those transcendent coaches that everybody knows and pulls for.
Coach, I know you try to get kids to learn how to play defense, which they haven't a lot of, but they also have been more of a run and gun, shoot and transition team. Has it been an effort to get them to learn to play a half-court offense?
Yeah, it's a daily struggle, but the other night it was really funny. I think people thought Paul Westhead was still coaching because we hit all those threes and we scored 100 points, and and there are some nights you just got to turn them loose. Everything was going in, but the reality is we need to be a half-court team. An opportunity transition team, run when we can, but we're going to have to spread it out if we're going to beat people consistently.